This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for June 21st, 2021, 3 p.m. Eastern. Don't run from what you're resisting. A lot of us do. We run from what we're resisting. If we push away feelings of anger, we will become powerless and more angry. If we resist a painful experience, life simply becomes more painful. So when we let go of resistance and welcome all the feelings we are resisting, we become a welcome-aholic, and all past stuckness will magically dissolve. So when we give our resistance over to the God and we see what happens, we have a viewpoint of different perspectives of marriage on this planet. In a way we were born, but in other ways we weren't together. And together we shall be forevermore. We shall be together when the white wings of death scatter our days. We shall be together even in the silent memory of God. But let there be spaces in your togetherness, and let the winds of the heaven dance between you. Love one another, but make not a bond of love. Let it rather be a moving sea between the shores of your souls. Fill each other's cup, but drink not from one cup. Give one another of your bread, but eat not from the same loaf. Sing, dance together, and be joyous, but let each one of you be alone. Even as the strings of a lute are alone, though they quiver with the same music. Give your hearts, but not into each other's keeping. For only the hand of life can contain your hearts. To stand together, yet not too near together. For the pillars of the temple stand apart, and the oak tree and the cypress grow not in each other's shadow. We often, to start getting a better understanding, other than what we have been educated and basically brainwashed on believing. So you speak of the children of this planet. Speak to us of the children. Our children are not our children. They are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. They come through us, but not from us. And though they are with us, yet they belong not to us. We may give them our love, but not our thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. We may house their bodies, but not their souls, for their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow, which we cannot visit, not even in our dreams. We may strive to be like them, but seek not to make them like you. For this life goes on and does not go backwards, nor carries with yesterday. We are the bows from which our children, as living arrows, are sent forth. The archer sees the mark upon the path of the infinite, and he bends us with his might, that his arrows may go swift and far. Let your bending in the archer's hand be for gladness, for even as he loves the arrow that flies, so he loves also the bow that is stable. These are different perspectives. It may sound strange to some people. The meaning is that in the God within all of us, we are one. The bodies, they're vessels that carry the one. And the bodies give us the interpretation or the meaning or the feeling that we are separate, so that we can experience each of us as the one, different directions. As we know, there's no mistakes, and there's literally no mistakes. And there's just experiences. So we use words to define our experiences in this civilization. So to us, we say, well, I made a mistake. Mistakes are dangerous to believe because of the fact that then we bring in shame and disappointment and anger and hatred and all kinds of things. So if you understand that to eliminate all of this dogma, we can understand that we experience. That's all we do. That's all we do. We create everything, and then we experience it. It doesn't necessarily mean that we're zeroed in on a continual basis of knowing exactly what we've created, because we don't design it that way. We design it so that we have these surprises, so to speak. And then, but see, the nice thing about it is that when you decide to go with the flow, literally go with the flow with no hang-ups, no interruptions, and when obstacles, or what appear to be obstacles, that all of us create for ourselves, we flow with it. We don't get immersed into it. It's very easy for all of us to become immersed in hecticness, anxiety, stresses, fears, angers. And all it takes is one little step off, and we fall into it. We get irritated, we get frustrated, we get angry, and all of it, which is unnecessary. And this is part of our trust path for ourselves to understand, is that you can say that, I totally trust the universe, but in reality you don't. And you don't trust yourself because you allow yourself to get into the muck of this external world, this material world, and the happenings and things that go on and the interactions and so on and so forth. And I'm not talking about being a zombie. I'm just saying that, eventually this is what we're here to do, is learn through our experiences that we create for ourselves to perfect our creation. So when we do this and we move through this life, it's up to us. But a lot of us don't believe that it's up to us. We think that there's some force or power that has everything predestined for us. And that's not the case, because we literally lay the road each step we take. Where there wasn't a road, there then becomes a road, because we are laying the steps and the pieces to create the road each step we take. So it isn't so much about any of us, because none of us are exempt from any of this. So we get kind of, especially now in this time, we get kind of miscombobulated and stressed out and stretched and worried. It doesn't matter what goes on around us, but yet we do step into it because we're in such a habit of doing it. We feel that if we don't do that, then we get guilty. Well, I got to be doing something. I can't just sit here. You see what happens? That's what happens to us. We feel guilty if we aren't doing something. A lot of us do. Not everybody, but a lot of us. And by sitting still and being is where you're learning about who and what you are. And by learning about who and what you are, then you're able to navigate all the storm around you, but you stay in the center. Or the third edge of the coin, the edge. You walk the center, not the left, not the right. You walk the center of the path. So you focus on that. You don't really care to deviate, because if you do, you'll go into the storm. And the storm, we all know what it is. It's the material world. But you can literally move your existence, your life, in that body to stay in the center and to literally enjoy your stay, which is this life. That is tough. It takes a while to practice it, because even the most so-called sages, wisely, still will have that urge, that ego push to pull them into the material world, which is not only material things, it's emotion, it's all of the emotions and feelings, things that happen to us when we don't understand ourselves. When you understand that someone gets angry with you, or someone does this or does that, or treats you a certain way, you learn and understand that it is a reflection of what's going on within them. And this is how we begin to not take these things in as a personal affront, because they're not. They're parts of us, and these are other people, that are basically screeching out about issues for themselves. And they go on to others by doing that. You ever done that? You ever been upset about something with yourself, or things that you're experiencing, and you inadvertently, with someone else, you make a really disrespectful comment, or something that's just really out of context, in a soft cuff, because of how you are feeling. Now, a lot of people take that personally, and then that gets them upset and irritated and frustrated. And then they go into talking about it for hours. But the fact of the matter is, it has nothing to do with you. That's why I always talk about that we stay in the now, and everything is about you. It's not about everybody else. It's about you. It's about you understanding who and what you are. It's about you understanding that you're not the body, that you're the God within the body, that you're the pure consciousness. You're not this world. You're not the material world. You're not your name. You're not your personality. You're not your character. You aren't even I this and I that. You're part of the one, the God. And all this stuff, that the body, this material world, is all created for us to learn about who and what we are. That we're not separate, that we're all one, that the universe is our best friend forever, and that we learn to trust ourselves implicitly, and that we're able to basically flow through this life effortlessly. Doesn't mean that we won't create challenges, certain areas of stuff, and it just makes it more interesting. Nothing earth-shattering. But we maneuver. Your joy is full-blown. Your joy of being in the body is full-blown. You're not constricted. If you don't know yourself, how, and I say this over and over again, how are you going to know anybody else? How are you going to interact with anybody else if you don't know you? And I'm not talking about judging yourself and being unkind and harsh and disrespectful to yourself. I'm talking about being gentle at all times with yourself, kind at all times with yourself, enjoy with yourself. Because after all, this is all about discovering the God within us. Not only discovering, but being with, always. So you begin to understand is that wherever you walk in that body, you're walking with the God. You cannot escape the God because you are the God. Many of us spend this whole life, many lifetimes, trying to escape ourselves. And the silly thing about it is that you can't. Because you are the very thing that you're trying to escape from. When we are in the unknown, this life is an unknown. That's what's so interesting. You have no idea. You're in the now. You have no idea, nor do you care, what's going to occur a month from now, a year from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, or 10 minutes from now. You're just focused on the now. You see, as all the pieces start falling into place, just like a puzzle, things start opening up. You begin to realize that I am not this body. I am the God within it. I am superly high powerful. I'm omnipotently so. And this is through the heart mind. I know that the ego and the mind are illusions. I know they're there to assist me, but I haven't learned enough about myself in order to know how to master them so they can assist me, rather than them mastering me. I know that my subconscious mind is a place where I've stored everything since I've been in this body. All the interactions with all the people and all the thoughts as this body grew, how I absorbed everything and everybody else's thoughts and packed them away in that library in my subconscious mind. I know that if I can hold, or when I can hold enough tension directly on one specific desire, one want, I can hold that for 15 minutes straight, not fixating on it, not expecting, not attaching, but one for 15 minutes. When I can focus on that one thing that I desire, to have the universe delivered to me, and every time I do that, it does materialize for me. It moves energy into form, creates it into reality. And all the universe does is answer me. I leave it alone. I don't need to visit it again. I don't need to fixate on it. That's forcing something. Sometimes that works on rare occasions. Most of the time it doesn't. So you have such the confidence through the heart mind, such the confidence in the universe, and trust in yourself and the universe, that you know that it's automatic. You don't have any concern about when, how, where, why, at all. You just know that it is forthcoming. That's it. You don't make plans around it, okay? You just know it'll be here. So you go and stride. Once this civilization comes to the full realization that it literally can manifest anything it desires, anything it wants. See, that right there is a massive evolutionary shift for the civilization, for everyone to come to that full understanding and realization. And not through the ego mind. No, yeah, I get it. No, it's just automatic. It's automatic. Okay, let's see. What do I desire now? What is it I want now? Okay, that's fine. And so you send it out, and the universe takes care of it from there. You can, and I don't know, some of you probably experience this, but you can't. This involves all things. This involves your existence while in that body on this planet. It goes in many different directions. But it's all about you. Always has been, always will be. Each and every one of us, it's all about you. When you discover yourself on really, truly who and what you are, and that you have forgiven all the different aspects of yourself, while in this life, in this body. Sometimes other lifetimes that you've carried with you. And you're completely content, exactly as you are in that very moment. You have no interest in changing, shifting, or doing anything. You're perfectly in deep gratitude. And then everything shifts, it changes. Why? Because of you. Always is that way. It's because of each and every one of us. And eventually you're able, depending on how you were raised, what your influences have been in this life, how you were taught, trained, and educated, what you perceive, because of how things are done on this planet, what you perceive in your surroundings is a lie. It's not a bad thing. It's just a discovery of it. And then to determine the root of truth for yourself. See, because eventually you get to the point where it doesn't matter what anybody thinks of you. It doesn't matter how they talk to you. It really doesn't. Okay? You can engage and argue and interact and do the ego thing, or it has never been about you. From that perspective, from outside of you. The reason that so many of us have been so dismantled for so very long is because those who wish us to stay in the dark don't care to have us become awake. Because when we become awake, we start discovering just how truly powerful we are. Because we really, truly are. And you haven't seen anything yet. That's why we've been kept on this planet. Kind of like in a cocoon, kind of a matrix. But it is absolutely all about you. Now, some people would think, well, that's selfish. That's, what about everybody else? I have nothing to do with anybody else because I'm discovering me. I'm not able to flow with the rest until I'm at rest with me. Then everybody else benefits from me because I'm at rest with myself. I know who and what I am. I don't have to broadcast it to people and, try to convince people. That's ego. I know who and what I am. And then you look at the emotional aspects of who you are in the physical body. And you start putting the pieces together and everything just starts clicking. And literally, each of us in these bodies are the God. Total divine perfection never changes. Total divine perfection never changes. And the gods within us are total divine perfection. Everything else changes. Why? Because we learn. The day will come on this planet where the majority of the civilization will be in motion, and whatever they're doing, it will be joy across the planet. The word work will disappear from the old dank 3D frequencies. So if you will, go to the place where you're not going to be interrupted, and I'm sure that we all are. And the first thing that we're going to do with our bodies is relax them. That's the first step in anything, is relaxing these bodies. And also it gives you a better insight and a much more nurturing understanding of the body that you're in. So you release. By learning, getting to know yourself better and better without judgment and ridicule to yourself, but openly and flowingly and lovingly, you begin to realize many things. You look at the body and say, okay, the body's carrying stress, panic, fear, anxiety, anger, hatred, disappointment, envy. You've got to let go. It doesn't do any good. It doesn't assist. Really doesn't. And it keeps us in lower vibrational frequencies. It really does. We all know that. So the body releases. This is all, and what works for me is the best depiction is the hot air balloon with the basket, and you've got the ballast, the sandbags. You know you can't get off the ground because you haven't dumped all of that excess out of that basket so that balloon can soar. And you know that you that's what you have to do in order to soar. And you go, oh well, maybe I'll go too high. I'll just stay on the ground and I'll just kind of look around. And you're watching all the other balloons go up, and yours is just sitting there because you should let all that stuff go, all of it. But yet there's a part of you that says, no, maybe it's good. I need to hold on to it. But when you let it go, is when the body becomes totally light, like the balloon. And it just floats. Not a care in the world. Not thinking about anything. Period. It's just totally relaxed. It's not stressed out. It's just floating. And at that point is when we move into the now. Moment to moment. Space between heartbeats. It is the only place to be. There is no other place to be. Even though we think that the past or the future that doesn't exist is the place to be. The now, the moment. You still the chatter of all of that chatter that we always see. Tens of thousands of thoughts running through us constantly. Like clouds going by in the sky, and we're grabbing this one, grabbing that, we're grabbing this, and the majority of them aren't even ours. Those are all the thoughts of others that we absorb while these bodies were going, and we continue to absorb. So you realize that this is the only place to be. It's your calmness, ease, your focus, no matter what you're doing. You can guarantee yourself one thing: if you think you're focused on something, right? Well, I'm focused now. I'm in the now. But the ego mind is really tricky. This is a subconscious mind at point, and so these thoughts slip in, and it is so sneaky, and we're so acclimated to it that we're not even aware of it. And so they come in, these little 10,000 thoughts, and then they drag. We pull off different areas. We'll go off in here, go off over here. You've been doing something, and you think you're in the now, but you really aren't, because you're undoing a cap of something and it flies off somewhere. Right? It's because you weren't focused on it. See how tricky it is? So you have to make a concerted effort, or choose to make a concerted effort, to stay in the now. And to some it sounds silly, but it's the beginning that helps you really adapt when you practice. So just focus on the now. And then you'll know you're in the now if someone's trying to talk with you, and you're just focused on that one moment. And you don't hear them. You really don't. You don't hear them. You're only focused on the moment to moment. You're not planning for 20 years from now, and spending all that energy planning for 20 years from now. Because everything that you have ever desired, you already have. And the only thing is that most of us don't know that that's the case. So in the now, some of us, though, we all of us have memories, and we enjoy those memories. They're wonderful. Not all of them, but, we also remember the ones that weren't too wonderful. But some of the times we just reminisce. It's fun. But then some of us will just sit there in that old, dank, dead past. And it is dead. Old people, old relationships, old interactions, old, decayed and turned into dust. It's gone. It's dead. It's amazing how there's so many people that will live in that past. To me, it's like an elephant graveyard. Bunch of dead, rotting carcasses. Everything's dead. There's no newness or freshness or anything. But, some people take it, drag it into a future that doesn't exist, create that future from that past, and we go that past and that future. That's why people, they say, well, we seem like we keep coming back to the same place no matter what we do. Well, that's because you're living in the past, and you don't even know it. It's like, doesn't matter. Whenever you are comfortable with something and something comes in to kind of pull you to try something different, it's a tug of war for many, isn't it? It's a tug of war. No, I'm safe here. I'm, good with everything. I really don't need to go outside this circle and try that because I'm just happy with what I'm doing right now and what I have right now. So we convince ourselves not to go into the unknown. And really, that's it, is the unknown. That's where all of the opportunities are. All the possibilities are of the unknown. You know that when you wake up in the morning, it's the unknown, isn't it? It really is. If you're in the now, and you're not projecting an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, or what you're going to be doing toward then you're in the now. And everything else is an unknown. But how do we stay in the now? Because, all of us, none of us are exempt, we kind of float off. We do. We focus on something, we float away. A thought comes in, it's not ours. It comes in, we just start going off. Well, our breath, our divine positive energy. That's how we focus on the now. Whenever we grab on and ride another thought out of the now, could be going into the future that doesn't exist or the past. Whenever we do that, it's not a big deal. It's just becoming consciously aware of it. And so that once we become consciously aware of it, we say to ourselves, okay, I'll focus on my breath, my divine positive energy. The reason it's divine is that the soul enters the body, powers the body, and then everything starts functioning. And then the lungs start functioning. And then the oxygen, the breath, sustains the body that houses the soul that gave it the power to do so. So the divine positive energy, whenever you're wandering, right? Yesterday, tomorrow, or further ahead, or further past, I'm focusing on my breath. And 3,000% of the time, you'll be in the now. Even if you have to do it 1,000 times a day, it's worth it. Because eventually, you won't even have to think about it. You do it automatically. It'll kick in immediately whenever you start wandering. So we have a vast, endless expanse of existence. We are never ending. And you feel that vibrational frequency through the heart mind. The gods, the souls within these bodies never end. This is why when you discover you're not the body, the fear of leaving the body leaves you. Okay? Leaves you. Some people may say, wow, I wish I knew how I'm going to die. I've had people say that to me. Really help me out if I knew how I was going to die. Well, what's your intent when you want to leave the body? Right? Because that's all it is. I don't look at it as death. You know, you're going to leave the body. You want to know when you're going to leave the body, right? You want to know when, and you want to know how. And you want to know why. Does it make any difference? If you know you're not the body, and then you're in deep gratitude every single second you're in that body? So the body's relaxed. You, the God, hold the body, right? Body's just leaning into you. And so it's relaxed, totally relaxed. Not a care in the world. And you're in the now. Moment to moment. Space between heartbeats. And you know that you're an energy. Omnipotently powerful. The soul. Pure energy. And you know, as the God in that body, you power the body and you flow through the body. And you flow through all the emotions and everything, all the biologics of that body, everything. Nothing is there that you don't flow through as the God. You know, the energy points of the chakras. We know that these, they're called chakras. Some people call them chakras, some call them energy vortexes. Some call pathways and gateways. But what they really are is energy vortexes that are spinning. And these are energy points in the body connected to the etheric existence. Once we begin to understand that, yeah, and some beliefs say there's dozens, and other beliefs say there's 7, and other beliefs say there's 4, you know, and so on and so forth. But for the body, right, there's 4 that represent life, death, you know, the sacral and the root, you know, the sexuality, the survival. They're right next to each other. You know, the red and the orange. And then you go to the heart. And then to the third eye. Some believe that those are the 4 key energy vortexes. But what we know, to make it understanding, is that we flow through all of them. You see how fascinating this becomes for each of us? And boring. It can't be boring. It's fascinating. It's our curiosity is at full tilt, full bore. And it's a tremendous journey to decide to go within. It really is. When you look at these bodies, the body you're in, you begin to understand it. Because you really are the soul that you are. You're the God. You're the power of healing. You just don't know it. And you don't believe it. And you don't trust it. So therefore, you aren't. This is part of the Great Awakening. Or you can call it anything you want. The Great Awareness. The majestic beginning. But it's this civilization and all the gods within these bodies becoming fully aware of the relationship of existence and who and what they are. Once that happens, all pain and suffering will be totally gone, never to return. And all the other things that have been dumped on this civilization will be gone, never to return. And to understand that, I think that some of us, to a certain extent, do. Some of us are fearful of it. Yeah, there we go again. Fearful of the fact that the energy, the energy that creates love is what we're made of. The energy that creates love is what we're made of. So does that mean that God is love? Absolutely. Now, if this entire civilization knew that, trusted it, trusted the God that they are, the universe is there to assist them, were gentle, kind to themselves all the time, were in deep gratitude 24/7, no matter what, and the highest of the highest high and the deepest eternal love, gratitude, peace, there would be no harm done to anything or anyone. Zero. Literally zero. Zero harm. And that's a choice that each of us make. There's no shortcuts. You can't do it in 10 seconds. You can't fix it with a snap of the fingers. You must commit to it. You must choose to commit to it permanently. It's not a visit. It is forever. And you'll find that it is your natural state of being once you acclimate yourself to it. If you fight it, then you'll just stay in those lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies. And we all know that the dark is there to wake us up. Everything serves a purpose. It is created by the one, the God, by all of us. And then we begin to understand that each one of us, each parts of us, some of us are aware to a certain extent, awake to a certain extent, others are not. Other parts of us are asleep. It's a plethora of reflections that a lot of us don't know. We don't connect with it. And then those reflections, they go unattended. They go unnoticed. It's like, all the time, the ones that are parts of us that are consciously aware are with us all the time. The reason that we call out to them, that we seek them, is so that we can acknowledge them, that they are with us all the time, and that we remind ourselves that they are, and then eventually it gets to the point that we know they are all the time, like the archangels, the cherubim, seraphim, the archetypes, like the ascended masters, Kuan Yin, Maitreya, Buddha, Lakshmi, Ganesh, Gaia, Saint Germain, Sananda Christ, Amoria, Abundantia, Pel, Thoth, Yeshua, many, many, many more. These are all parts of us. People say, well, I'm not Saint Germain. Really? You're part of the energy. He has the God, the soul. You have the God, the soul, the spirit, the higher self, however you want to label all the parts of it. But in reality, he is you and you are him. It's the same with all of them. Look at the archangels. They're a civilization that vibrates at a different frequency than we do. So we don't see them like we see each other. Not meant to, it's not structured that way. You'll see them on occasion. You will see them on rooftops and other places. You will see them if you notice, if you're in the now. But, you meet them, and we meet them because we create the meetings. And we know that they are. And they always have the same message that they deliver to us. Parts of ourselves delivering a message to us so that we are reminded and that we understand and we focus and we stay in the center path. That is absolutely magniglorious, spectacular, supercalifragilistic, phenomenal to be alive in these bodies. Why is that? Well, we're being reminded by parts of ourselves to stay and choose to be in deep gratitude. Always, 24/7. I'm grateful I had that interaction with that individual. They were really disturbed with themselves, and that's something that I'm watching so that I understand that is not something I care to entertain, to be upset with myself. It's really stupid, silly for any of us to do that, because that's why you stay in the moment, because then it becomes the moment. After each moment, it's the past. It doesn't stay long, does it? That moment, whatever you're doing, is now the past, and you're continually moving forward. You're not looking over your shoulder at the past. That's dead and gone. You are moving forward, and you are ascending. We are always ascending, all of us. Some much slower than others. There's no race. No one's better than anybody else. How can you be? You're all the same. You're the one God. You're all God. Divine perfection. It's the material world on this existence that motivates our ego minds to lead us. That's what happens. So we have the archangels, ascended masters have, and we learn from parts of ourselves. We're both students and teachers of each other. So we learn from the ascended masters that they have mastered ascension into physical form and out of physical form. We haven't done that yet, but we're learning. We know that they have. Parts of us have. And they hold pure consciousness God form. Well, we are pure consciousness God form, but we haven't mastered the physical form yet. So we are mastering these bodies, these physical forms, so to speak, and we're creating our experiences to perfect our creation. And then some of us may learn, may understand, through learning from other parts of ourselves, that we are the light. So we will know that when we leave the body, we won't be wandering around or be caught in the matrix. We will know that we are the light. We will also know that we can go anywhere we choose. We are totally free. We have always been free. We will never not be free. The soul is always free, never not been free. But when you get tricked, you can get captured. You see how important it is to be in these bodies? Hugely so. So conscious awareness. The part, some of the archangels, the cherubim, seraphim, archangels, and ascended masters are all consciously aware that they're of and from the highest of deepest, deepest, deepest eternal love, and of and from the highest of deepest, deepest, deepest eternal gratitude. And they're with us. They cannot not be. Okay? They're with us consciously. Other parts are not. They're with us, but they're not conscious. Okay? So what about all the light energy being? And all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. Including the ones with this planet. All of them are parts of us. So, as we are them. So what happens is that we consciously speak to those parts of us that are awake. So these are all light energy beings, and all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. And they're in the Gugaplexes. One Gugaplex fills this universe with no sacred space to spare. They come in trillions of Gugaplexes from trillions of universes, from every direction. And the ones on this planet, we only see 1% of what is on this planet with the eyes that we have with these bodies. But trillions of light energy beings with this planet. And they come, while we're in physical form, they come in shapes, color, sizes, forms, configurations, which we've never seen before. The ones we're familiar with are the fairies, the sprites, the elves, the dwarves, the gnomes, trees, the trolls, the elementals, earth, air, water, fire, ether, the mermaid, the dolphin, the whale, the pegasus, the unicorn, the centaur, the minotaur, and many, many, many more. Now, they come in the trillions, and they are with us consciously. They are not with us unconsciously. As parts of us, as we are them. What about all the off-worlders? Galactic, celestials. Same thing. We're part of them, they're part of us. All teaching and learning. All teaching. Students, teachers. And yet, see, only those that are consciously aware that they're of and from the highest and deepest, deepest, deepest eternal love, and of and from the highest and deepest, deepest, deepest eternal gratitude, can be with us, which means they're all with us, but the parts of us that are awake that we seek are awake with us. Big difference. And teaching, learning, right? They've been assisting us, the Sirians, the Pleiadians, the Arcturians, the Andromedans, the feline Zeta Reticuli, the Nords, the Greys, the Draco, the Reptilian, the Golden Pyramid, the Avian, many, many, many more. They've been assisting us in our evolution in the physical form. In enlightenment, ascension, freeing ourselves from our own self-imposed bondage and our own self-imposed slavery. And they're with us now consciously. What about all the inhabitants? Inner earth, beneath earth, Agartha, hollow earth. Only those that are consciously aware that they're of and from the highest, the deepest, deepest, deepest eternal love, and of and from the highest, the deepest, deepest, deepest eternal gratitude, can be with us consciously. Okay? And they are. And what about all of our loved ones who have ascended out of body, left the body, this lifetime and all lifetimes that we've inhabited? Only those that are consciously aware that they're of and from the highest, the deepest, deepest, deepest eternal love, and of and from the highest, the deepest, deepest, deepest eternal gratitude, can be with us in this now, in this meditation. Forming the circle of light and complete liberation of this planet Earth, Gaia, Arya, in this now. And in the billions, they are consciously with us. What about the other ones? They're with us, but not consciously. They're not aware of the parts of us. So we're all gathered, arm in arm, hand in hand, consciously aware, in full compassion, non-judgment, non-ego, non-negativity, stillness of mind, gentleness, kindness, generosity, humbleness, bliss, joy, peace, tranquility, abundance, prosperity, benevolence, and we're all one. And we're all God, and we're all love. And our God, force, love, light, energy isn't all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. And it continues to intensify, and it continues to expand. All of us choose to form a circle of light around the equator of this planet Earth, Gaia, Arya, and this now. This emanates from the gods within these bodies, of which each and every one of us consciously are. This is an omnipotently powerful, it is so powerful it grays out the darkness of sacred space. It would take 1,000 trillion suns just to come close to its radiance. And we're shining this. We are flooding, soaking, and bathing all life, the highest supreme value in the universe, right now. We do this 24/7. Everything, good, bad, indifferent. This is such a high vibrational frequency that the lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies cannot sustain themselves. It cannot be. They must vacate or cease to exist in all forms, all shapes. And imagine that. That's what we're doing with this planet. We're transforming this planet into a God-planet paradise. And everything connected to it, with it, on it, in it, above it, and below it. Now we continue to ascend above this planet. We're immediately met with this massive ocean of glitter. It's everywhere. And as we start to see, look, it's like trillions of laser lights flashing everywhere. But they're all flashing back and forth amongst us all gathered in this meditation, consciously aware. So we zero in on the reflective points, which are little tiny microscopic etch mirrors, and we go into them. We discover that we're all students and teachers of each other and ourselves. It's absolutely phenomenal. And so we're always learning and always teaching, and we always will be. How do you create if you don't learn? And if you don't learn how to create, what to create. We're immediately met with the emerald green flaming healing light of Archangel Raphael. This is a column of light that we created that reminds us all that we're the power of healing. Hands down. We're then met with the violet, blue, purple flaming light of Archangel Michael. This is a column of light that we've all created, which reminds us all of our omnipotent power, strength, and resolve. We're then met with the white fire. This is a column of light that we created that reminds us all that we are imbued head to toe, inside and out, eternally, infinity, always, with a white fire armor. This isn't like a knight's armor. It goes way beyond that. It protects the physical and the spiritual. And it emanates from the conscious gods within us. So there's no attachments. There's no demon impositions. There's no lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies. There's nothing. You're protected 24/7. We all are. Always have been. Always will be. But only you have the power that if you decide to lower your vibrational frequency low enough, whether consciously or unconsciously, your hatred, anger, greed, envy, lie, deceit, deception, manipulation, you will lower your vibrational frequency low enough to create a breach in your white fire armor, allowing the lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies to come flooding in. Now, if you do decide to do this, you're immediately met with a purple transmuting flame. This is a column of light that we created that reminds us all that we can bring in the purple transmuting flame. We can transmute all these lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies into neutral-like substance, send them to pure consciousness where they're literally vaporized and no more ever again. We are then met with a violet ray. This is a column of light that we created that reminds us all that we can bring in the violet ray right behind the purple transmuting flame. And we can cleanse and purify that area where those lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies once were, sealing the breach in our white fire armor, restoring our highest of the highest high of deep eternal love and gratitude. We are then met with the golden white pink light. This is a column of light that reminds us all that we are the sun, the sunlight. We are the rain, the rainbows. We are the sky, the clouds. We are the oceans, rivers, lakes, streams, trees, forests, soils, animals, sunsets, sunrises. We are everything. Everything is us. So next time you see a sunset or a sunrise, what you're viewing is you. You're the beauty. You're the grandeur. You're the divineness. It's you. Always has been. Always will be. Ever, beyond, and forever. We continue to ascend above this planet. Some of us step outside our physical forms and hover effortlessly above them if we're carrying physical form. So why do we do that? Because we can. We come into full contact with this massive crystal light tower. We created this tower. It is huge, larger than the solar system. In the center of the column is this massive oblong sphere. In the center of the sphere is a golden white bowl of light. It is surrounded by numerous vibrantly colored rings of light. And they're all sending massive waves over all of us, saturating, flooding, and soaking us head to toe, inside and out, eternally. The golden white ball is the highest of the highest high of the deepest, purest, eternal love. The next one is the highest of the deepest, deepest, deepest eternal gratitude. And the highest of well-being, the highest of wealth, prosperity, tranquility, abundance, joy, bliss, gentleness, kindness, generosity, humbleness. It's all us. It's the gods that we are. Now, at the top, we designed it so the golden ocean can come cascading down 360 degrees, as it's doing right now. This golden ocean is at the highest of the highest high of the deepest, deepest, deepest eternal love. And it is flooding us all, soaking us all, nonstop, head to toe, inside and out. Every quark, every molecule, everything that we are is being saturated, soaked. Now, we are all drops of this golden ocean that's cascading down 360 degrees on all of us. And we hold the essence of this golden ocean, all of us. The golden ocean is the drops of the golden ocean. And the only illusion is separation. We see our meditative sphere. It's that center circle. We all created this sphere over 3 years ago. Hundreds of millions of us on and off world, all consciously aware, with the highest of the highest high intent. Over 1,400 of these meditations, soaking and flooding us all. I mean, you can feel that in your heart center right now. This is why this sphere can be seen, heard, and felt, and all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. This is why it continues to intensify and continues to expand. Everything each of us are, everything that we are, love. No exception. You see someone angry, frustrated, combative, love under pressure. A lot of stressed out ones on the planet, isn't there? We all feel them. They're all part of it. Doesn't it make sense? Those of us who are consciously aware, that we stay calm within ourselves, that we stay in the eye of the storm, that we stay in the now. We don't project, we don't have attachments, we don't have expectations, because we know we're the love, we're the God within these bodies. And all of them are parts of us. So as we vibrate into higher and higher frequencies, what do you think's going to take place? I'll join you in a meditation, and I'll return to close us out. take an easy breath in through the nose and an easy breath out through the mouth. Move slowly and easily. Embrace your feelings of anger with yourself. Don't resist, but embrace painful experience. Let go of the resistance. Welcome all the feelings you are resisting right in this very now. When you become a welcoming energy to all of this, all the past stuckness will magically dissolve. Give your resistance to the God within you. See what happens. Take this with you the rest of the day, into the evening and night, and into the following morning. We will return here Tuesday, June 22nd, 2021, 3 p.m. Eastern, to continue our Global Guided Meditation call. And Wednesday of this week, 9 p.m. Eastern, we will have a Time for Change call.